To join you here at Pueblo Community College, and we have some really important bills that we are going to make law right here at Pueblo Community College. The first bill is called the Middle School Students Concurrent Enrollment Information Bill. It was sponsored in the Senate by Pueblo's own Senate President Leroy Garcia and Senator Hulbert, and by Representatives Bockenfeld and Coleman. This bill makes sure that community colleges help distribute information on dual and concurrent enrollment to middle school students, because what we find is that it's important that kids can get on that trajectory as they enter 9th grade. Because if they only find out about it and when they're in 10th grade or 11th grade, they don't have the same opportunities to get a year of college credit or a semester or even an associate's degree already in high school. You have to make sure you're aware of that opportunity early. And I want to thank the sponsors for drafting this really important bipartisan bill to help empower students and parents to know what their concurrent enrollment options are earlier when they can act on them. It'll really help level the playing field, increase access to higher ed, better trained workforce, and I couldn't be more excited to be here at Pueblo Community College, a real leader on dual and concurrent enrollment, to sign this bill. And we'll turn it over to Senate President Garcia.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Governor, for those kind remarks. I'm very honored to be here, and I want to start off by thanking the Governor for signing several important pieces of legislation today, including the establishment of the new state park, Fisher's Peak, in Trinidad. He was out earlier at Musa Farms to sign several other really key provisions for Southern Colorado, and I think myself and my colleagues, especially Representative Escar, the chairwoman of the Joint Budget Committee, recognize how involved this governor has been in advocating for Southern Colorado, which is a really important thing. I'm just proud of this policy to have worked with the Minority Leader Chris Hulbert on concurrent enrollment. I know how valuable that is as a faculty member here teaching at Pueblo Community College, and know the investment that means for families and especially parents who are often on the receiving end of that, and the leg up it gives those who are enrolled at an earlier age. So with that, Governor, I look forward to you signing this and making this become the law, and we'll turn it over to my colleague, the Minority Leader Chris Hulbert.
Thank you, President Garcia. Thank you, Governor Polis, as well. A few years ago, I was having a meeting with some parents of middle schoolers, and they were concerned about academic standards at the high school where their sons and daughters would go. And I started talking to them about advanced placement, AP courses, drive a GPA higher. And then I mentioned this thing called concurrent enrollment, and I was met with a group of blank stares. They didn't know what that was. Concurrent enrollment is a way that if a school district, if the school board decides to participate, can pay for some or all of an associate's degree for a student in high school. Parents of ample means hear about this and they say, gosh, we're really interested in this. We can make better use of our sons and daughters' time in high school and achieve some or all of an associate's degree. And when I talk to parents of limited means who may not be able to afford college, their view is exactly the same. We want to know more about concurrent enrollment because this would give our sons and daughters an opportunity they may not otherwise have, but to make better use of their time and really set a higher standard for students in high school. Concurrent enrollment isn't right for everybody, but it's one of the things that Colorado has done very well and has always done in a bipartisan way. I'm just honored to work with President Garcia on this bill. And, to the House sponsors, thank you. To the Joint Budget Committee for finding a way to get this bill through when dollars were in such desperate need and scarce availability. So, Governor, thank you for being here in Pueblo, and I look forward to making this law. Thank you all.
All right, let's make it official. Here we go. Ready? It's official. Senator?
The next bill is thanks to the hard work of Senator Zhenzinger and Senator Rankin, Representative Escar, and Representative McCluskey. It's the higher education funding model bill. It's really the culmination of a lot of work between the sponsors, the institutions of higher education, CCAG. It's really a comprehensive rewrite of the way that we fund higher ed, Not the amount we fund it. We all know with the tough budget year, it was tough. But how we fund it, how it formulaically goes to where it's needed the most, and how we reward excellence, how we reward on-time graduation, how we reward efficient value for students. And I really think it says a lot about our institutions that they were largely able to put aside their differences and focus on what matters, and that's doing our best for students. And I want to thank our bipartisan JBC sponsors for their hard work on this bill, and welcome Representative Escar, who's also chair of the powerful Joint Budget Committee.
Well, thank you again, Governor, for being in Pueblo. I feel like we've spent the day together, and that truly means a lot. I appreciate you taking the time to be all over Southern Colorado today. This bill is a bill I am so proud to have in front of you today. It's a Joint Budget Committee bill. And for those of you that don't know, for a Joint Budget Committee bill to happen, all 6 of us have to vote unanimously to support it. And we did. That means it's a bipartisan effort and a unanimous effort to move it forward. But we can't take full credit for this. This literally was every institution in Colorado coming together, putting aside differences, and figuring out a new way to fund higher education. Because we know the needs of a community college like Pueblo Community College is vastly different than the needs of a CU in Boulder. And for a long time, we've been funding things with a formula that was across the board, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't fair, it wasn't equitable. And that's what I think I appreciate the most about this bill, is it's finally put some equity into this system when we allocate the funds we do have when we have them, to make sure that every student across Colorado is getting the exact education that they want and the education that every single student deserves, not just because you happen to live in an area that has a more wealthy school. So I'm excited to get this bill done into law, and I want to thank so much the partners that all came together and worked hard to get this done. I cannot forget to mention, though, Representative McCluskey, who couldn't be here today. This was her heart and soul. We're not supposed to marry our bills ever. This was the bill that I think she married, and I don't think she would mind me saying that this year. She's worked around higher education for a lot of years, and she knew how long this had been coming and how much work needed to come together. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned her and fill her here today with this bill signing, because she really was sad she couldn't make it today. Thank you all.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Rachel Zhenzinger. I represent the Arvada and Westminster area in the suburbs of Denver. And I, too, am just very pleased and proud that we're able to bring this bill across the finish line. It was a collaborative effort that I don't think we have ever seen of this level. Every university and college came together, worked as a team to put together a formula that's really going to meet the needs of all of our students. We have a couple of unique elements in this funding formula that we have never, as a state, recognized before. The first of which is the recognition of our first-generation students and the challenges that come before our first-generation students when they go to college for the first time. And this bill actually acknowledges those struggles, and it puts some resources behind it so that we can ensure that everyone has access to an affordable, attainable post-secondary education. And we're just so pleased that we're able to integrate that into the funding formula itself. So we will be, for the first time, collecting metrics on first-generation students. In addition, one of the changes that we made in this formula that is so incredible is that we're able to allow colleges and universities to judge their performance against themselves. So they can set performance metrics for themselves and then be measured about how well they attained those metrics, rather than stacking up colleges and universities that are dissimilar and measuring them against, you know, a big giant CU against a little small Fort Lewis college, or measuring Pueblo Community College against CSU in Fort Collins. It doesn't make very much sense to be able to measure universities against each other that way and to base your funding formula off of it. It does make sense, however, to be able to reward colleges and universities for making progress on their own goals, and that is something that is very central to this formula. So we're very excited about that. We're also going to be looking at other metrics such as resident enrollment, credential production, your retention rate, your 6-year graduation rate, such as your 150% timed degree. It will also acknowledge the number of Pell students that you are serving, the number of underrepresented minority students that you're serving, first generation and 4-year graduation rates. So these are all tremendous metrics, and one of the most unique elements about this formula is that we can make adjustments to them based on policy goals when the Department of Higher Ed comes together with a master plan. And if they look and assess how we're doing here in Colorado, they can say, you know what, here's an area that we need more of a focus on. And so let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's actually adjust the formula so that we can actually fund this area a little bit more, because we see that as something that is more important to us right now. Prior formulas just didn't have that flexibility. So this formula is going to be simpler, it's more transparent, and it allows us lots of flexibility to be able to focus on our master plan and our higher education goals. I want to thank the governor very much for being here today and for signing this bill into law, and to the Joint Budget Committee members who really helped see this across the finish line. But most importantly, I want to thank the higher education community, because it was really all of them coming together and deciding to put aside their differences to come up with a formula that works for them. That's the reason why this happened today. So thank you very much.
All right. Here we go. Ready? It's official. Congratulations.
No, I don't think the sponsors are here for this next bill, but I do want to thank Representative Van Winkle, Representative Garnett, Senator Gardner, and Senator Todd. This bill extends a tax credit that encourages employers to help pay for higher education. So I appreciate the sponsors' work on this bipartisan bill to make college more affordable. I'm glad the tax credit will be extended, and we'll sign the bill. Official.
And we have
The final bill here that we're going to sign here at Pueblo Community College at the ceremony. I want to thank Representative Escar, Representative Sullivan, Senator Todd, and Senator Gardner. This bill helps make sure that the Office of Economic Development continues to operate the Procurement Technical Assistance Program. Basically, it helps Colorado's small businesses. It's not always easy for small businesses to navigate the complexity of government contracting. And the Procurement Technical Assistance Program is a proven way to help small businesses compete to perform government functions efficiently, effectively, and economically. It's good for taxpayers, it's good for small businesses. I want to turn it over to the sponsor, Representative Escar, to say a few words.
Thank you, Governor. So this bill was actually brought to my attention last year about this time, wanting to make sure that we continue this amazing program that actually helps small businesses across the state fill out and get their federal grants completed, because we all know what a sea of red tape that can be, and this is a free service to small businesses. We had to talk about it. It was on the docket for moving through in an easy fashion. It's bipartisan. It's a common sense bill, and then COVID happened. And we had to have long conversations about, is this something that we need to move forward? And the conversation immediately turned to, well, of course it does, because of what's happened to our small businesses because of COVID. Our small businesses are really relying on help from the federal government every single day to get right back up and start moving again. So with this program, they will have that help that they need to navigate the red tape. So I'm so excited to be able to do this for small businesses across Colorado, but especially the small businesses that have reached out to me here in Pueblo looking for help. This has been a tremendous office that's been able to reach out and help our small businesses. So Governor, thank you. This is important before COVID, but living during COVID right now, this is even more important for our small businesses.
It's official. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody. These are some great bills. Madam President, we're excited to sign them here at Pueblo Community College.
We're excited